Hey, Todd. How are you doing tonight? All right. I'm not familiar with that. Is it a band? Huh. I've never seen it. I'm pretty out of it when it comes to movies, especially as of late. I guess that does sound kind of familiar. So is that one of those places where you get dinner and drinks and watch a movie? There should be more of those. I've been to a couple of different places like that, and they're always pretty good. Used to live by a real popular one. It was a dollar movie, but it wasn't dollar prices on the food, so that's really where they made up the ticket prices. Hey, Amy. What's up? Google up a couple of images here. That was a pretty good one. And the hands are real bony, real messy too. They almost look like paper mache. I'm sure they were foam latex. There's a picture. It looks like there's like one of the props is in the lobby somewhere, and it's falling apart. And fingers are all rotted off. There's someone talking about restoring the skexes from the dark crystal. Oh yeah, it's definitely foam latex. And it looks like it does. They have wire in the fingers, but they're all rotting. You ever see like a really old cushion and some of that yellow foam is exposed, but it's turned kind of like a brownish color? That's what happens to it. But it gets so like brittle you could just push your finger into it and it falls apart. 2, 3, 4. So it looks like find one more picture. It looks like it has 4 knuckles. One, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. And it sure does. What's that? Some things were moved during the night, but that's about it. Nothing real nefarious. Nothing too extreme. I checked for bite marks and everything when I woke up, and it was good. I did place bulbs of garlic in a circle around the head during the night, so that may have helped. I don't know if there was any more breaking. I think Kumia retweeted or posted something about it, or I had kind of a really busy day. Didn't follow a lot of that stuff today. I hope he'll be smart. Just to disappear for a while. I don't like to see a guy, I don't like to when it gets down to like a job, especially a job that I think someone really needs. And if those people get wind of it, he's going to lose that one too. There's a certain group out there that will happily they don't think someone should even be able to feed themselves if they don't like their opinion. I can't think of a lot of guys that I would say, yeah, I'd rather they just lived outside. They should be homeless. But there are people out there. And sometimes you just you face palm. I don't know how else to describe it. It's cheesy, but you gotta stop, man. This is a good example where it's nice to have the different hardnesses of clay because I'm going to start adding a lot of that hard grade onto these fingers. You get that extra strength and support. So you have to add some thumbs, and their thumbs just come out of the side. They're opposable thumbs like ours, but they have 3 long bird fingers. I ugh, I, that's some weird news. That's obviously, a couple of dudes that are struggling to fill one show a week. But people like it, I guess. They see the numbers. Now I had a good mix. See how fast I can find it. Did better than I thought. I rolled out some hard with a little bit less medium mixed in. This should be a lot harder. A lot waxier. Four days a week would be tough. Not get repetitive. I guess there's going to be a lot more snack food on camera coming up. Well, there'll be more time for interviews with coffee cups, and candy bars, and donuts. I saw someone tweet that in hot water was the only reason that they were still staying. Like, ooh, okay. Must be a very refined sense of humor. I see that and I think, I don't know if that's a guy that I want to hang out with too much. We might not be into the same things. There's my light here. It's a pre-tape? Holy moly. Well, he's a hard worker. I'll give him that. So he's going to do the live show at Gas. Awesome. Yeah, it's going to be fun when he gets that mask in the head. That'll be cool. Oh, it's a little blown out. Well, there's a lot of it, that's for sure. I just kind of scanned today. I didn't realize how many hours of that there is. It's definitely not a very exciting channel if you're not into Gumia. And we lost a lot of them because of some of them were Facebook Live with use of alt. So the very early ones are gone. Use of alt wasn't very good about backing things up. No, they're just gone. They just disappear. But they downgrade the quality a lot on Facebook. That's why I stopped using it. Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot. There's just not the first couple of where I had the plywood armature and then the foam and then putting the clay all over that. We just don't have that anymore. There's a lot. The original, very angry Kumia. It was in that stage. No, one day I logged in and it was just gone. And Facebook said that they banned it because it was an alt account. There was no option to dispute it. It was just gone. Pretty silly. I mean, what do they care? Maybe they're trying to save hard drive space. I know, it's silly. It's really silly. It's yeah, you're right. It's arbitrary, and they give the employees a lot of freedom just to be in a bad mood one day. So I had a couple of suspicions that it was either, well, I did make a Photoshop of use of alt with a vest on, and then there was an Allah Akbar Photoshop with a Chula statue. So you never know. I think Yusuf Alt was getting recruited by ISIS, though. There was like so many friend requests every day. They could actually have some problems coming up with that ID demanding. They can't really demand your identification. They've been lucky so far getting away with it. Facebook has some problems in their future. I think the Zuck realizes it. Facebook's had a pretty good run too. Naturally it'll start to phase out before too long, kind of like how MySpace did. Remember, MySpace was huge. And it's been a little while since anything new and innovative came out. I like every now and then when you see his picture pop up somewhere in a meme or something, him sitting at his little desk. I definitely think there's an older demographic on it. You know, the people that started using it 15 years ago are still on it and will probably not change. I don't see any real strong contenders yet, though, but something will come. I keep seeing more and more things about this online First Amendment issue, and I think it's going to become a really hot issue. Things tend to kind of move slow until a certain amount of people get interested in it, and then all of a sudden it's like a wildfire. I need a better backdrop. I should hang up that state-of-the-art green screen instead of a pile of tools as a backdrop. So Michael Malice is going to be pre-recorded in the evenings, huh? Ooh, that's just what we needed. So he can go in one day a week and do an hour of pre-tapes and then just roll them. Yeah, he's taken Your Welcome over to Gas Digital. And then they're going to run a pre-recorded news show in the evenings. Yeah. Lando, you need to get the BBG, man. It's time. Well, you need to. Because you talk about that place is breaking news usually. Either that or the subreddit. Someone's on top of stuff within minutes. I watched a little bit, and that was enough. I'm sure Keith Kopp definitely wasn't happy about the way that was announced. They don't need any more of that stuff going on right now. Oh yeah, the BBG is great, and it's overall it's a great community too. One of the few places on the internet that kind of polices itself and keeps things fairly reasonable. So just an overall count update. I know I've mentioned it to some, but the another batch of silicone will be here tomorrow. I ordered one of those wigs and it's marked shipped USPS, so it's coming from inside the country and it should be here for sure, I would say Thursday. Oh, yeah, you'll get in, man. You'll get in. Yeah, if he asks you any questions, just mention all of us. Say you're in Viduka and that you listen to the show. You're always in the show chat, and that in Clay Strames we demanded you went over there and joined the BBG. I got rejected a bunch of times, but that's just because there's a desaturated crying baby in my profile. Lewis is building up a fairly decent little business over there. There's not a whole lot that I really want to listen to there, but I would say definitely he's way ahead of Compound. He's passed up Bobby Kelly's Laugh Cast for sure. Yeah, he's not particularly sharp, is he? Oh, that was great. Stevie Lou. That was fantastic. But you see how disgruntled everyone is over there? And it's always about money. They can't throw people a few. You got to be kidding me. Everybody over there is starving to death. That was another one about, a guy who worked and worked and worked doing production for free and then finally got mad. He starts getting insulted on the air and he's been doing is working for free for the guy. It's not that hard to get. Same issues all the time with all the talent. So, unless, you just want to be on the air so bad, because, like that flutesy girl, I can't imagine she gets paid. But, someone who just really wants to be on the air and is having fun at it and has other stuff going on, it's not that big of a deal. No, but one of their criterias for shows, I think, Todd, is that they don't pay anything for them. Which, just makes you, how well is the network doing? I mean, if you got lots of money coming through there, it's worthwhile to run some of it through employees. I mean, who knows what Keith is being paid or what Anthony has taken as a salary. You never know. I'm sure those are the two salaries that come first. It would only make sense. I don't think that show's even being done from the studio. Another weird thing, you know? That first one I saw, it looked like they were doing it from from a Subway or something, having a little sandwich and sitting by the glass windows. It was pretty dull. I don't know. You guys get the feeling that podcasting might be kind of getting done? I don't know. I've had that feeling lately. I don't know what replaces it, but it really feels done. Yeah, like we're there. It's no one's really going to do more with the medium. I don't know what happens next though. I'll be right back. I'm going to go close a window in the shop. I think we got a little storm coming in. Let's pick it up outside. Maybe, and it would be to all of our benefits, maybe the next phase of this is going to be that everybody can't just wing it and people actually start to put some effort. That would be a nice change. Start doing some prep, putting some effort into these shows. Maybe not doing so many. Spend a week preparing and then do a show. I don't think, the days of the huge podcasts like Rogan, Rogan's lightning in a bottle. Most of these guys will never see that. And now with so many of them, it dilutes the people's wallets. Yeah, I don't think that many people do. Like even Rogan, I don't watch that often, maybe once every 2 weeks. But when I do watch, a lot of it's very repetitive. There's not a lot of people that have it in them to do that much show every week. On a morning zoo type show, you have the benefit of different talent coming in and sitting in and kind of adding. And there was a time when, like Howard Stern was a machine every single day. And then he dropped to 4 days. And it doesn't sound like, that show has a whole lot going on anymore. Fans are really, really critical of it. Something's definitely up. And then Twitter added to their notifications. Now you're getting notifications like just if someone you follow posts something. So I get on there and there's 10 notifications and none of them have anything to do with anything I've been involved in. I don't really like that either. That's a bummer. Well, what I watched today was definitely a step up from what it has been. Yeah, these aren't going to take that long. Not compared to the other one. I found some sculpting tools online that I need to add. Nice small little rakes. Or buy the materials and make them. Overall, I'd say not bad. You know, some people just get mad at anything you do. You know, there's a guy who said nice scam, and it's probably the same guy that did it in the BBG. There's not much you can do about it. I've been as transparent as you could possibly be through this whole process. Yeah. But you know, someone did that with the Chula statues too. I mean, people do get legit mad. It looked like all those comments were gone, Bran. Like his original one was there. I'd say it's not something I'm not worried about. I understand it. You know, it's possible too. It could have been someone that wanted one and it really had no idea the cost involved. I I must not be getting an updated. It's in that same thread. I must not be getting updates on that thread. Yeah, I'm not getting updates on that thread. I see his comment and then I see one response to it. Yeah, I'm not seeing them. That's really strange. Check my phone. Yeah, I had to shut down the browser and restart because refreshing. Now they're there, but refreshing wasn't updating the thread. I tend to think so too, Lando. It's been kind of weird lately. You'll see, you know, I'll get something that's hours after it was posted. Like someone will send me a personal message or something, and a couple hours later, the notification for it will come up, and I'll go and check, and it's the same message. So might have to do that restarting the browser frequently. It might not be working on the real-time updates. Oh, Mike will never like you. That's a good one. That's a little bitchy. Something tells me he's a Reddit guy, just by his choice of words. And really, to cut the guy some slack, why would the average person would have no idea how much this stuff costs? Silicones and resins and stuff. You just never expect it to be that much money. So the first probably impression is what? It's like it's insane. Well, and it's not just that. It's then you gotta spend, $50 on disposable brushes and cups and tongue depressors. I go through paper towel. It's just like ripping dollars off and throwing them in the garbage can. It's crazy. All those little things. Sandpaper and oh geez, it just never ends. Acetone, lacquer thinner, naphtha, isopropyl alcohol. It's really crazy. Yeah, and I think I'm not going to beg people to buy one. We have enough that will cover all the materials and cover getting one to Mike, and you know what? That's cool. And really, I don't want to make 50 of them. I don't mind making a dozen or so, but you want to stare at that face for 6 months? Stirring silicone buckets? I would like for it to be able to kick some money into the muscat, because that would be a fun project for this summer. Clear the floor and make a big costume stand out of a 4x4 and start that mussman up. But you know, it'll be good if this can kind of take some of that cost up, because that's not going to be a really great one for the stream or Reddit people or anything. That's just kind of a little thing for us to laugh at. Now, anybody that's into doing cosplay and stuff and making those big costumes will get a lot of info from it. We'll be working with EVA foam, fleece, a bunch of different materials. I may do the head out of wet clay and then do a shell mold to do a nice lightweight head. We'll see. Sure, yeah, that stuff is huge, and the channels that do that have a lot of subscribers. A lot of gals are doing channels like that now, I've noticed. And there's a lot of like really not good stuff out there too, so kind of hacky. And well, I think I think right now that there's a real trend going on to make sure that more girls are getting crafty and shoppy, because I've noticed a lot of companies are making sure that they have a female out front doing those videos. There's a girl, what is her name? Give her a proper plug, like Ellie Effects or something like that. And she does, you know, like really basic effects that you can do at your kitchen table. And it's well filmed, and she's got a nice set, nice audio, and she's always done up. Makeup is perfect, and so she's got a fairly nice little channel going. I think it's Ellie. I did. I attended E3 a couple of years, and that stuff for video games and costuming and stuff is massive. Those companies go all out for E3 too. There's a great website called the RPF. It's the Replica Prop Forum, and there's a lot of people into props, making replicas of movie props. Years ago, I had a box of props from the original Star Trek series. Had like a couple of the phasers and a couple of the communicators. You know, they'd flip them open and they'd make the chirping noise. And boy, if I would have been thinking then to make molds of those things and be able to do castings, I would have been able to make a boatload. They were extremely well made too. The little communicators had a place in them for a battery, and they had little LEDs. But I've always kicked myself for not making silicone molds of those props. She's better to look at, that's for sure. Yeah, there's some like that, but she does a lot of them too. She does a lot of like really safe stuff with things you can easily find, like friendly plastic and stuff like that. Is it gruesome? You might have to get permission from your mom to watch. Yeah, that's mostly what it is. Fangs and cuts and bruises and things like that. Those are the channels that are doing really well right now on YouTube. There's so many people that are doing edited video, where they film something very nicely, of course, which looks great. Then they do probably a week's worth of editing. I'd never get anything done if I did that. And I like the real-time videos. Not everybody does though. People love time lapse. That I am aware of. Oh, I got to stop grabbing him by the beak. Well, we were talking about recreating the Raiders of the Lost Ark scene. And that may be something that we do. Maybe at the end. We'll do a gelatin casting of the count and then film them and melt them and then speed it up. We can edit that footage into that scene in Raiders when they open the ark and their face melts. There's better gelatin than that. That's a little more stable. But you do it the same way. You melt it and pour it in, and it solidifies. No, no, it's not that expensive. All in all, it'd probably cost $100 total, I would say, because I'd want to buy a plastic skull and put a skull inside of it, so when it melts off, that you see the bone underneath. And I'm not into sculpting one, but it's pretty cool. You heat this stuff up in a pan till it's liquid, and you do like first you do a skin color, pour it in the mold and slosh it around, let it coat, make a coating. Then you mix up another batch and you start changing the color a little bit. And then when you get down to the center, you make like a blood red gelatin and slosh it. So when you melt it, the outside melts and peels away until it gets down to the red, and then the red melts and runs out like blood. It's a very simple effect. I would buy one. There's a couple of companies that make plastic skulls pretty cheap, probably $30. Just buy one. Couldn't make it that easily or for that cheap. Lindbergh used to make one that I used a couple of times for projects. If I could see if I could find one of those. It was a pretty good skull. Just like a plastic model kit. this eye better. Match that one. What do you mean, Lando? Like hosts? Oh, I know what you mean. Well, most companies have those kind of policies. And I'm sure it's harder when your job is to talk about everything going on in your life. I would think so. Mm. And really, they can't have, you can't just have everyone talking about everything internal, as juicy as it may be. What did he talk about, Artie? We'll hear more about that, down the road. and one day it'll just all come out. Malice. Well, there was a big. I think the way Gas Digital announced it, it made it sound like he was leaving Compound. Which he kind of is, and he's taking his live show. Yeah, that's a weird situation. I'll tell you what. And Anthony, I don't know if you ever tune in for whatever weird reason. You guys got to take better care of your people. Because that Artie stuff was a slap in the face to people. I would have left. I'm like, okay, I'll see you. I can go somewhere else and not get paid too. I'll tell you what's going to happen one of these days within hot water. The wrong person's going to see it with one of their really hack racist bits, and then it's going to get out, and it's not going to be good. Look what they did to Denny. The only reason it hasn't happened yet is because no one's ever seen that show. And now they're going to be on 4 days a week, or a couple of days a week, anyways. That's a downfall just waiting to happen. Is Aaron Berg a United States citizen, or is he still a Canadian citizen? Anybody know? So he is still, yeah. I mean, he could end up in big trouble. I don't even think he realizes that. So if he's still a Canadian citizen, they could see that show and put him through tribunal. I mean, they did it to Mike Ward over one joke. He may not realize that. That if you're a citizen of a country and you do something against the law in your own country, they can nail you for it when you get back. So he must have a work visa at the least. They're definitely not. That's for sure. They're hacks. They're bombers. Yeah, I'm not a Berg fan at all. Yeah, the government can't get involved in that. Their companies may be able to fire you for things you say, but the government can't act against you. Yeah, I've heard some of Berg's comedy. He's not good. He's not good. Berg ended up with some money from his parents, doesn't have to work, and can just run around doing mediocre comedy. It's not good. Yeah, he's got money, you know, from somewhere. And I doubt it was anything that he did to earn it. He's not a very talented guy. As far as I know, he was like a gay stripper and then a bodybuilder. I don't think he's done a whole lot. I think he's done a lot of writing. But he was in like one of the, those Saints movies, the two dudes with the guns. He was like in a scene, one of those scenes. He's done a lot of little bit parts. What were those movies called? Boondock Saints. He played Tiny Man number 3. Mini Thug 1. Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely the roids. They do a lot of harm to the rest of your body. Everything else ages really, really fast because of the extra tea. No, I wouldn't do roids. Hey, poor Aaron, he's trapped in that little tiny body. The only thing he can do is get wider. I mean, I don't know how you could feel like a man being 5 foot tall. Sorry if you're 5 foot tall, but you got to get some lifts or something. Saw that clip about Rogan talking about some operation you can get that'll make you an inch taller. He's talking about going from 5'8". Rogan is not 5'8", man. I'm telling you. He is not 5'8". He's cooking the books a little bit. I'm not sure if it was the first. I thought it was the second one. It's just a bar scene. It really isn't a part. It's just like a little bit. It's a little part. He's just there long enough to get shot. And you get some platform shoes. That helps. Yep. Lots of cowboy boots. I know a really short guy. He always wears boots. Get a couple of inches out of those babies. He's probably a 5'4" kind of guy. Yeah, if you're a short guy, you're just a short guy. But it's weird to start trying to be like a big guy. That's where it gets kind of strange. The gym that I go to is full of these little muscle guys, and they really strut like little roosters. And I've noticed that there's a lot of dudes that are really trying to take on the Conor McGregor look. A lot of big beards going on these little dudes with muscles. I just kind of just watch from afar a lot of times. See kind of the interactions. Gym is a weird place. It's a very strange place. See a lot of things go on. If I do a class or anything there, I've got kind of like a high up perch that I can just look down and survey the area. And I see a lot of like ritualistic behavior go on down there. There's this husband and wife that are regulars, and she's got a massive chest, natural. And so his head is constantly on a swivel thinking like everyone's checking out his wife. And it's like, well, dude, your wife is here. She's in the triple range. And of course, spandex shirts. And like he's always just like worried everyone's checking out his wife. That scene plays out night after night after night. Then there's the little Conor McGregor guys, and they'll start showing each other. One guy will like stack up a couple of boxes and then leap up on top of the box, and then he's got to show everybody else. And what they're trying to do, if you watch them for a little bit, you'll see they're trying to introduce something that the other guys can't do. So you'll have like these three Conor McGregors in the corner, and like they'll all jump on the box, and then he'll come up with some other activity and try to find something that one of them can do that the others can't, and they're just all over there trying to alpha each other. Hilarious. Then you got the oafs, the big muscle oafs. There's two types. There's like the really quiet, nice one, and then there are the guys that you can always hear their voice in the background, and they're always swearing. They can't get through a sentence without saying the F word. Constantly. You got the mirror lookers. A lot of women mirror lookers. They all work out sideways and work out while they look over their shoulder. No, I don't work out downstairs. I don't work out. I actually cannot stand lifting weights. It's boring. And the gym culture is really horrible. It's really cringe. After my ankle surgery, I did a lot of treadmill though. Just walking. Oof, those were some rough times. And then I graduated to an elliptical and then finally one of the stair climbers. It was a rough few months. I kicked up about a rock about that big into the swing arm of my dirt bike and locked the back tire up and popped up about 45 degrees on the front wheel. And then when I came down, my heel slammed into the ground. Probably going about 20 miles an hour. My ankle just exploded. I didn't dump the bike or anything. I rolled to a stop and then I just rolled off the right side of it onto the ground because I knew my ankle blew. But I just kind of popped into that big rock, popped into there, and just back of the bike came way up. It would have been better to go over the handlebars, but it came wham, slam back down. That is the worst pain that I've ever been through. Absolutely. Excruciating pain. I wake up in the middle of the night and have to crawl across the floor to get to the bathroom because if I stood up and the blood pressure dropped down to my ankle, I couldn't take it. And I was on perks and everything, and sometimes it didn't even touch the pain. I broke my right one snowboarding, and that was nowhere near as bad as that ankle. You know, I had to use a cane for almost a year. Long year. 4 months, let's see, 4 months or 3 months in a cast, and then I had a couple of months in one of those dumb boots, space boot, and then a lot of limping. I did. I did make my own cane. And it wasn't like anything. It was basically, it looked like a war hammer. It was a cane, and then the handle had a point on one side and a hammer on the other. So if I ever had to bring that across someone's head, I did not like having a cane. You know, it makes you look vulnerable. I don't even know if it's around here anymore. It was for the longest time, but I might have. No, I don't think I cut it up. No, anyways, it's around here somewhere. But I just turned a teardrop on my lathe that had a nice teardrop handle. Remember this. He had the crazy knife guy store in town, and he was one of those guys that he walked with a cane, but he had a lot of illness. I think cancer finally got him, but he had one of those canes that had the sword inside of it. Cheap sword, horrible quality steel. Well, here in Georgia, you don't have to get too imaginative on carrying. You just kind of carry whatever you want. I remember one time I was up in Manhattan, not too far from Times Square, but a little bit further down. It was in like an Irish pub or something. It was close to closing time. I walked outside. And there's like this Andy Warhol looking guy, older guy, short bleach blonde hair, spiky hair, and he's yelling at cars as he comes across the street. And a car honks at him, and he pulls out like a 3-foot length of chain out of his jacket and just lays this chain over the windshield of this car. I couldn't believe it. Just standing there watching it. Wow, that's crazy. He came over on the sidewalk, and he only stuck around for a little while, of course. He was a lunatic. I just talked to him, said a few words, and he was manic. It's like, I gotta go. All right, man, you better get going before they get here. So we need some thumbs. Let's see what time it is. Yeah, you know what? It's 11. I think we're going to call it. Tomorrow's going to be a busy day. We're going to pour account tomorrow and paint. Yeah, so when we pull that one out, I'm going to paint it right away. I'll wash it and clean it up real good with acetone, make sure there's no mold release or anything on it. And then we'll start putting paint on. So even if I get a couple of coats, for the stippling and stuff like that, it'll keep a fresh coat on there. But that's how I'm pretty much going to have to do it. I'm going to have one or two going all the time. You can't let that stuff sit too long, or you won't have a good bond between layers of silicone. I just have this ghastly Coombs sitting here. Well, they have the little arms up in the back under their armor. Those other things, what do they call them? There's those other deals that have like the two big arms. What were those things called? The master, the master thing that was with the little gnome. I forget what they're called. But yeah, they're down really low and they have a long tail. And then the Skeksis have the little wing arms up in here off the shoulder. But those other things have like 2 full-size arms. Yeah, I've just watched it. It's bowling ball coombs. He is. He just cuts up. He's acting crazy. Have a great night.